I don't set the world on fire. I don't want some of a baby in my I have a lonely desire.
Hey, Steve, what's going on, buddy? What's going on? Is there something outside I need to know about? Is there something outside I need to know about? Wait a minute. I know what you're trying to tell me. Did Timmy fall down the well? Again?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, the show where we talk about horror movies. I am your new host, Mr. Fancy. I am the associate producer of this program. Steve the Cat has asked me to host the show from this point going forward because our former narrator, Carl the Camera Monkey, has disappeared. We don't know what has happened to Carl. He just disappeared mysteriously. We fear the worst, but we hope for the best for him. We love Carl. Carl is like a member of the family, and we miss him terribly, and we can only hope that... Oh shit, how did he get out of there so fast? Ah!
Hello, and welcome once again to Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, the show where we talk about horror movies. I am Carl, the production assistant. Yes, I am reclaiming my title. I am tired of being terrorized by this Toy Story reject. They tell me little Timmy has fallen down the well. I go to rescue little Timmy because he falls down the well at least once a week. But little Timmy hasn't fallen down the well. It's a ruse. And when I least expect it, Mr. Fancy pushes me down the well. You know, it was fine when Mr. Fancy was tied up, but poor Steve the Cat cannot resist the urge to play with string. And when he plays with the string, Mr. Fancy gets loose. And when Mr. Fancy gets loose, his demonic nature takes over and I suffer. Well, fortunately for me, Well Escape was one of my many minors in college, so I was able to get out unharmed, and I will continue to do my narration duties for the show. So, we're doing a couple of fun horror comedies tonight. Hope you guys enjoy them. They're going to be a lot of fun. While you enjoy those, I'll be engaging in some amusing pranks of my own with Mr. Fancy. So everybody have a good time. I'll check in again at the end of the episode. Well, once again, it's time for Steve's vocabulary lesson. This is the part of the show where we investigate new and creative uses of the English language in an effort to stay ahead of social media bots and algorithms that would otherwise try to ban us. Our first word for today, instabinate. This refers to the process of removing one or more of a character's digits through the application of a mechanical process. Now, a related but separate term is instumpinate, another verb referring to the removal of one or more of a character's limbs through the application of a mechanical process. So these words are similar, but not the same, but it's pretty easy to tell these apart. If afterwards your nickname's going to be Stubby, you've been instubbinated. If afterwards your nickname's going to be Stumpy, you have been instumpinated. Now, two more words that are a little more convoluted. Instuinate. This is a verb that refers to the process of converting a character into a lumpy liquid or a slurry through the application of a mechanical process. Now, one of Steve's grammatical pet peeves is that instuinate is often confused with something that is separate and goes under the word insteepinate. Insteepinate means to convert a character into a liquid or slurry-like state through the utilization of a dissolving or corrosive agent. Now, those terms are very similar, but they are distinct from each other. I've put a diagram together to help you out with this. So let's imagine that you're walking along and you trip and you fall. If you trip and fall into a wood chipper, you have been instuinated. If you trip and fall into a vat of acid, you have been insteepinated. Instuinate, mechanical process. Insteepinate, basically like tea leaves being steeped, a dissolving process. Please keep these terms in mind. They will come up later in this episode. Let's take a minute to get to know our Scream Queen for this week, the lovely Katrina Bowden. Katrina Bowden was born September 19th, 1988 in Wyckoff, New Jersey. At the beginning of her career, she did various bit parts in sitcoms and television series such as Law & Order, before finally breaking through, being cast as Tina Fey's assistant on the comedy 30 Rock, one of my favorite comedies of all time. She appeared on all 7 seasons of that show. She has appeared in a number of comedies throughout the years. She's obviously done a lot of modeling throughout the years, but she does have a fairly extensive resume of horror movies as well. Some of them include The Shortcut, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which we will be discussing today, Piranha 3DD, Scary Movie 5, obviously more of a horror comedy, Hunter's Moon, and Great White. And just one final bullet point in case this has not already occurred to you from the photo montages, Katrina Bowden is quite possibly one of the most beautiful women who has ever lived. So that's our Scream Queen for this week, Katrina Bowden. Well, let's get to our film profile. Our film for this week is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. And there you see the poster right there. This is a dark horror comedy that was released in the year 2010, directed by Eli Craig, and it stars Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, Katrina Bowden, and Jesse Moss. Now, we talked about Katrina Bowden earlier in our Scream Queen tribute. Alan Tudyk you'll recognize from shows like Firefly, Dollhouse, A Knight's Tale. He's done loads of voice work. Tyler Labine's been in a variety of things as well. I know him best from his voice work. He is the voice of Hunk in the Voltron reboot that was done on Netflix, but he's done a lot of live-action work as well. So what can I tell you about Tucker and Dale versus Evil? This is a very funny comedy. Let's do a quick film summary. So this is a horror comedy of the crazed hillbilly variety. I should say the crazed cannibal hillbilly variety. Now, this story is set in West Virginia, but the movie was actually filmed in Alberta, Canada. Now, I know in the past I have been very harsh on some Canadian horror movies. The good news is this is not a made-for-television Canadian horror movie. This is actually a competent theatrically released horror movie that was filmed in Canada with a Canadian cast, and it is very, very good. The gist of the story is that two best friend hillbillies head into the woods to work on the vacation cabin that they have purchased. Along the way, they encounter a group of college students on a Memorial Day weekend camping trip. So, fair enough. They're all on vacation. The hillbillies going up to work on the cabin that they've purchased. The college kids heading up to do a little camping. It's Memorial Day. Everyone's out to have a good time. Except that through a comedy of errors and misunderstandings, the college kids are horrifically killed off one by one in a way that makes it look like the two hillbillies are killing them. And it's doubly funny because the two hillbillies are actually really nice, good-natured guys, and they have no idea what's going on. So the entire comedy of this is the contrast of what the college kids think is going on versus what Tucker and Dale think is going on. It's just hilarious to watch. It is an absolutely hilarious spin on the traditional horror movie formulae. Just a couple of things about this. When Tucker and Dale get to the cabin that they've just purchased, which is a fixer-upper cabin up in the middle of the woods in West Virginia, this cabin quite obviously belonged to a serial killer. It's got all the trophies hanging from it, the newspaper clippings, booby traps, everything else, and it doesn't occur to either of them that that's the case. They just think the guy was a news junkie, and they think the booby trap is just a loose board. It's just funny. The movie is just full of misunderstandings like that. Now, your typical college kids go on spring break movie always includes an encounter at the gas station where they encounter a hillbilly and something frightening happens. And that happens in this movie, but that scene is shown from the perspective of Tucker and Dale instead of the college students. And what is happening is that Dale, the good-natured hillbilly who's just a big old teddy bear, wants to go and flirt with one of the college girls, but he's insecure and doesn't know how. So Tucker tells him, hey, you're a good guy, just smile and laugh and let her know you've got a sense of humor. So there's Dale walking over there with his sickle because they're going out to chop weeds and laughing like a maniac at her. And from the college kid's perspective, it looks like he's the Grim Reaper threatening them. And just the entire movie unfolds like that. It's just so funny. So the villain profile for this, there is no villain profile for this movie. You'll have to watch to find out why. I'm not saying that there's not a villain as the movie unfolds, but I don't want to give anything away. The movie's just a lot of fun to watch. It's very well done. It's very funny. I recommend this movie highly. Okay, let's get to the scorecard for Tucker and Dale versus Evil. To start with, kills. 12, and that includes some kills in flashbacks. Now, this is slightly confusing because some of the flashbacks are memories, and the memories change as the movie goes on, but I'm going to call it 12. Bare breasts. 2, it's kind of a glimpse from a distance and one skinny dipping scene, but that's about it, and it is not Katrina Bowden. Sorry, guys. Car chases. I'm calling it 1 with an asterisk. It's more of a very short-lived joyride ending with a collision with a tree. It's not so much a car chase, but it's basically all you've got for this movie. Diggin' clonkings. Going back a few weeks into vocabulary lessons, diggin' clonkings. There is one semi-comedic diggin' clonking in this movie. Deus ex nada ana. Again, going back to an earlier vocabulary lesson. Again, there's one of those. Instubbinatings. There is one of those. Instumpinatings. Oh, see below. Instuinatings. There is an instuinating that, yes, in an Olympic caliber feat of degree of difficulty, that instuinating also includes a reverse double instumpinating. It is just miraculous to watch. I can't explain it. It just has to be experienced. You have to watch the movie for yourself. So, we're not going to do bonus features for this because I actually like this movie, and bonus features is something I do when I make fun of a movie. But for this movie, we're going to do a few out-of-context punchlines. Number 1. Oh, it's the pancakes! You don't like pancakes! I'll get you something else! Very funny if you've watched the movie. Oh, he looks like he's going to walk it off. He's going to be fine. Number 3. He's making her dig her own grave! Number 4. Oh my God, they cut off his bowling fingers. And finally, your friend must be allergic to bees or something because he was running like a bat out of hell. Keep all of those punchlines in mind when you go back and watch the movie. They are all hysterical when seen in context. So, Steve's final score for Tucker and Dale versus Evil. We're going to give this 3.5 paws out of 4. It is a fun horror comedy. It is creative. It's a little bit gory, but in a funny manner, and it's even more fun if you're familiar with traditional horror movie formulae. So the more you know about horror movies, the more you're going to enjoy this one. But even somebody who's not a fan of horror movies can enjoy this and just appreciate the contrast between what the college students think is going on versus what Tucker and Dale think is going on, and the whole comedy of errors and misunderstandings. The whole thing is just very funny. I recommend this one highly. I think you'll enjoy it. Guess what, folks? We're not finished yet. We have a bonus movie this week. Our bonus movie is Zombievers. There you see the poster right there. Now, right up front, Zombievers is not a Katrina Bowden movie. This movie I'm only doing because this is the kind of movie that pops up in your queue on a streaming service after you've watched something like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. This is one of those movies that pops up as you might also like. This is a dark, campy horror comedy that was released in the year 2014. It was directed by Jordan Rubin, and the cast includes Rachel Melvin, Courtney Palm, Lexi Atkins, Hutch Dano, Jake Weary, Peter Gilroy, and Bill Burr. And yes, it is that Bill Burr, the comedian. This movie is actually surprisingly funny and makes a nice companion piece to Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So if you're doing a movie party and you want to do a couple of horror comedies, Tucker and Dale versus Evil combined with Zombievers would give you a very good pairing for the evening. So let's talk about this movie a little bit. Zombievers. Well, again, this is one of those movies where the poster tells you a whole lot, but we're going to do a film summary anyway. This is a campy horror comedy of the college kids on spring break variety. It was filmed in California at the Disney-owned Golden Oak Ranch with practical special effects provided by a shop called Creature Effects. Now, the Golden Oak Ranch, or sometimes called the Disney Ranch, has been around for a long time, has been part of the Disney portfolio going back to the days of the Mickey Mouse Club, and has been used in a lot of stuff over the years, and was used for the filming of Zombievers. Now, the team that did the special effects for this, Creature Effects, this is not two guys working out of somebody's garage. These guys have actually worked on movies like The Last Samurai, 300, I Am Legend, and Cowboys and Aliens. They've done a lot of animatronic effects, particularly animatronic horses in movies where you do scenes where you can't risk injuring a real horse. So, actually, a really good creature shop did the effects for this movie. The gist of the movie, which you can probably figure out from the poster, but 3 attractive bikini-clad college girls go away for the weekend at a cabin on a lake, borrowing a cabin from a relative, of course. While they are there, they encounter a group of beavers that have been transformed into vicious, murderous zombie beavers by a toxic waste spill. I'm going to say that again in case it slipped by you the first time. Beavers that have been transformed into vicious, murderous zombie beavers by a toxic waste spill. Now, if that didn't give it away already, let me tell you, this movie is not even a little bit serious. This is a comedy. It is not trying to be serious. It is just trying to be silly, but it's a lot of fun. The practical special effects are, I would say, campy but fun. If they had made them any more realistic than they were, it actually would have detracted from the comedy of the movie. So I think they did a good job of kind of finding the sweet spot between, hey, we're actually competent and our stuff doesn't look like crap, and hey, we don't want to make this look too uber realistic, or else it kind of makes this look like we were trying to make a serious movie, and we really weren't. This is a surprisingly entertaining movie if you're in the mood for something silly. I did not expect to enjoy this movie. I have now watched it several times, and I just like it. It's just funny. So let's talk about the villain profile. Our villain, well, zombie beavers. There you see one with his cold, dead zombie eyes. These belong to a class of creature known as toxic waste-imbued woodland varmints. Their special powers include extreme viciousness, expert chewing and tunneling skills, they are unkillable because they're zombies, and the bite, of course, transmits the zombie beaver virus. Their signature weapon, again you can see in the picture, is their great big zombie beaver teeth. And their signature technique includes ambush attacks from underwater, under the floor, or by chewing through windows and doors. And, terrifyingly, they can also drop trees on victims with pinpoint accuracy, and that is real. The woods are dangerous for real because beavers can do that for real. Beavers are apex predators, and they can drop a tree on you at any moment. I don't know why anyone goes hiking ever. Beavers are just the scourge of the earth, and they will kill you as soon as look at you. Don't ever go in the woods, folks. It's just not safe. So that's our villain profile for this movie. Let's get to the scorecard for Zombievers, starting with kills. I counted 10. Now that does include conversions from human to zombie, but that does not include dead beavers. So we're talking about 10 people either killed or converted into zombies. Bare breasts. I'm going to call this 6, but with an asterisk, because quite frankly, there is a scene in this movie where Courtney Palm walks around topless for a long, long time, and I wasn't exactly sure how to score that. In fact, she doesn't seem to be really concerned with anyone seeing her until a bear shows up, and then she covers herself up. So I'm not exactly sure what to make of that, and I'm not going to think about it too hard. Possumings. There are 2. Instumpinatings. Again, there are 2, including one sopranoization. Now, I have not defined sopranoization. I'm assuming you guys can figure that one out. CGI bears, yeah, there's one. It's fake looking. It's intentionally fake looking. They could have done a better CGI bear. Kind of the point was that it was supposed to look fake. Coitus interruptus. I'm calling that 2, but again with asterisks, because in one case it is girl on girl, and technically if it's girl on girl it's not coitus, but you get the drift. It happened twice. Implausibly douchey boyfriends. We talked about this a few episodes back during Spirit Camp. In this one, we're going to call all 3 of them implausibly douchey boyfriends. I just do not understand how these 3 women would end up with these 3 men. It's just an artifact of the writing. And finally, double entendres using the word beaver. Well, there's a smoking hole in my floor from where my counter melted down. Not really surprising, but all the same, if you try to count, you might just hurt yourself. But with your viewing of Zombievers, you also get some bonus features. Let's talk about those. You get comically bad fake sex. Now, it's intentionally comedically bad fake sex. They even go over it in the gag reel, so it's not intended to look realistic, but it is comically bad. You get dog overboard. Yes, at one point in the movie, one of the douchey boyfriends tries to save everybody by tossing the dog overboard to the beavers, and that might horrify some of you. I'm a cat. I just think that's hysterical. Death by tree fall. Well, we discussed that, and that is a real-life thing that you worry about in the woods because beavers are remorseless killing machines. Zombie werebeavers. Zombie werebeaver bears. Oh yes, there's one of those. And blazing beavers. There's also a gag reel in this movie, so if there was any part of your brain that said this was a serious movie, just switch that off. If at any point you're one of those people that just has a lot of empathy, and even though you know the movie is fake and supposed to be silly, you kind of feel bad for the characters anyway, it's kind of nice that at the end it immediately goes into a gag reel and you immediately see that, don't worry, everybody's actually fine. So that's actually kind of fun. There is also an after credit scene after the gag reel and after the credits, so stick around to the end. And finally, Zombievers bonus features includes Courtney Palm. We here at Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat would like to declare that Courtney Palm is now the official Scream Queen of Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat. So if anyone out there is affiliated with Courtney Palm or her management or her representation, please let her know that she is now officially the official Scream Queen of Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, because Steve just adores her. So anyway, get them in touch with us. We'll send her some swag. We don't actually have any swag for this show, but on the off chance that anyone who knows Courtney Palm does get her in touch with us, we will create some swag for her because we just love her. We love you, Courtney Palm. Thank you so much for Zombievers. So, Steve's final score for Zombievers. We're going to give this 2.5 paws out of 4, and I flirted with giving it 3, but we're going to give it 2.5. It is a lot of campy, sexy fun that does not take itself too seriously, and it features some amusing practical special effects. I won't say convincing practical special effects because they were not intended to be really convincing. I will just say that they're amusing and fun. Again, I enjoyed this movie, especially if you make this a double feature with Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I think you will have a fun evening, so I recommend Zombievers. Well, we're almost to the end of this episode, but before we go, let's quickly talk about some other stuff Steve watched this week. Number 1, Wrath of the Crows. In this movie, a woman dressed as a crow forces a group of condemned prisoners to confront their past deeds. Now, if that wasn't enough of a giveaway, you can probably guess that this is a weird foreign film. This is, in fact, a weird Italian horror film that Mother de la Morte forced me to watch. She loves this kind of stuff. She demanded that I watch one, and I gotta admit, it was pretty good. The movie's a bit artsy, but not inaccessibly so. So, if you are kind of a new fan to horror movies or a casual fan, and you want to maybe dip your toe into the more artsy side of horror movies or the more psychological side, you could do a lot worse in this movie. It's maybe a pretty good introduction to the more artsy side of horror movies. Now, this movie, being Italian, I did not see on any of the major streaming services, but I did find the full-length version available on YouTube in what did seem to be a legitimate copyrighted broadcast, so I don't think it was pirated. But if nothing else, you may be able to find this movie on YouTube. Number 2, Lichen. A group of college film students on a camping trip to investigate a local legend encounter what may be a werewolf. I can describe this movie as low budget, poor production values, and poor acting. Once again, I was looking for werewolf movies for a potential future episode of the show, and once again, I struck out. This movie just is not very good. I do not know how this lead actress landed this role. I can only assume that her biggest qualification was her willingness to walk around and strut around naked while dripping in blood. Honestly, even that's not a redeeming characteristic of this movie. After about 2 seconds, I was like, honey, please just put your clothes back on. It's not working for anybody. I recommend you avoid the movie Lichen. Finally, The Burning. This is a classic. This is going back a ways. This is an old school summer camp slasher movie from 1981, so going way back. In this movie, a groundskeeper is maimed by a prank gone bad and years later returns for revenge. Now, this is a pretty good movie when judged in the context of when it was released. Now, it does not hold up against modern movies in terms of special effects and in terms of production values and everything else. You have to understand, this is one of the early movies from the 1980s that helped create the current horror movie genre, so they didn't have the budget or production crew or anything else that you would have now to put on this kind of movie. Now, the fun thing about these old school horror movies is who appears in them. If you go back and watch the original Nightmare on Elm Street, you see Johnny Depp. If you go back and watch the original Friday the 13th, you see Kevin Bacon. If you go back and watch an old movie called Return to Horror High, you'll see a small appearance by a very young actor named George Clooney. This movie, The Burning, features Jason Alexander, who played George Costanza on Seinfeld most famously, and also includes Fisher Stevens and Holly Hunter. So there's some familiar faces to look out for. You will definitely recognize Jason Alexander, although he is certainly much younger than when he appeared on Seinfeld and has a lot more hair in this movie. But definitely recognizable as Jason Alexander, and you can kind of almost see a little bit of young George Costanza goes to summer camp in this movie. So if you're in the mood for something old school, you can definitely recommend The Burning. Definitely recommend you avoid Lichen. And Wrath of the Crows, if you want to try something artsy, you can do a lot worse. So I would cautiously recommend that one. So that's some other stuff Steve watched this week. Would you believe this little hellspawn is actually flame retardant? I mean, who among us would have guessed that Hellboy was a documentary? Anyway, that wraps it up for this episode of Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat. I hope you have enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed putting the episode on for you. Remember to like and share and subscribe to stay up to date with what goes on with Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat. We'll be back with another episode next week. In the meantime, have a great week and thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Hey Steve, check it out. Our package is here. Yeah, I complained to the special effects shop that sent us fancy, and they sent us a replacement at no charge. So I'm really curious to see what they sent us. It should be, it should be lifelike and adorable. So this is going to be our ticket to those sweet, sweet merchandising dollars. Let's see what they got. Come on. Let's see what we got in here. Well packaged. Oh, son of a...
This is Mikey from Out of the Ordinary, and you're watching PBDC TV.
Oh, hi! First thing in the morning, when I'm listening to music and getting a little bit of time for some creepy research, I'm always representing with my PBDC merch. What a better way to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Don't forget to check out our other cool merch at rootsbleedred.com. That's rootsbleedred.com.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Out of the Ordinary. I'm your host, Mikey, of course. So today I'm having a roundtable discussion about something that happened to me on Friday. Well, I want to say about Thursday night, Friday morning. Hello, Calvin. Hello, Jillian. So Friday morning, I wake up and I find the bunny I'm taking care of. I find this cage knocked over, a big gaping hole in it. See, there's the cage is all knocked over. That thing's all reinforced steel and wood. The wood is pretty heavy. And I find a big hole in the cage with no bunny. And I'm like, what happened to it? So I go looking around and I find it in the yard, dead, of course. I just find nothing but a cadaver and no blood, no teeth marks, nothing on the bunny. So I'm having a round table discussion today. I'd like to introduce, the Odd Mother and Liz. They'll be joining me for this round table discussion. What I think it is the infamous chupacabra. And there is a little souvenir that I kept that I found right here. Let's see if it'll focus on it. Damn, right there.
And that's
That is
huge.
not a bunny claw. Yeah, that is not a bunny claw.
No.
That is not a tooth. But what it looks like is what we were discussing in the back stage was a barb.
Yeah, it does. It looks very similar to a barb. And hi, everybody.
Hi, guys. Hello.
So I wake up, I see that big gaping hole in the cage and everything like that. And I end up calling the sheriff's department. I'm like, fuck, vandals. That's the first thing I thought, vandals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, they came in, they killed my bunny, things are running through my head and everything like that, So we call the sheriff. Sheriff comes in, starts investigating and everything. He's like, that hole and all what happened, that was not human. And I'm like, whoa, coyote? He's like, no. Possibly, but no.
Well, see, and I find that fascinating, Mikey. Not to interrupt you, but a lot of times you being so close to it, you're going through like, oh my goodness, what exactly happened here? Whereas someone that's a little bit more disconnected can sometimes see certain things in a crime scene because it's a bunny crime scene.
It is.
That the owner or the person that's close to that animal may not notice. But one of the really, really like bizarre things that I found so odd about it, and living out in a rural area myself, I understand animal predation and getting to small livestock and things like that. But if you look at that hole, the way it was ripped, whatever it was had to have put its hand all the way in there and gone all the way to the other end of that rabbit hutch to get that rabbit, because where that hole is like where the drinking water and stuff is, but where the rabbit actually stays is on the complete opposite end of that pen. And that pen is huge, and it doesn't look like there was like if it was a fox or a coyote or something like that, you would think that you would see a lot of hair around that hole and that hole is big, like arm size big, but it's not huge, like head huge.
Yeah.
So
Now
I find that very intriguing.
Let me interrupt you here with that, okay? So the way the hutch was knocked over, it was not anything. It had to have been something with strength, because I lift weights, of course. I do.
No, Otis. Sorry to interrupt. No, Otis. There actually wasn't.
Being that I lift weights and everything like that, like I tried to, reenact carrying that thing and pushing that. I had a hard time, and that's because I do lift heavy.
Wasn't it? Didn't you tell me it was like a proportion of it was nailed to one of those trees because of the storms and stuff that you guys usually have? Because I showed that to Oddfather, and he was like, because at first he was like, normally like it's coyote or it's a fox, until he saw that, and he's like, I don't know what would have done that unless it was a large cat, but a large cat would not have left that much of that rabbit there.
But you see that a large cat would not knock that thing over, because that thing is reinforced steel and heavy wood. Like that wood is that wood that my uncle made that hutch with. Not just anybody can actually move that thing.
Yeah,
it's gonna take time, and it's gonna make a lot of noise.
Well,
see, this thing did not make any noise.
And I agree with Jillian, because she said it doesn't look like an animal, like entry hole.
Yeah.
But if it was human, they would have taken things from the yard. That's the thing. They would have
cut that screen. They would have cut that screen with a knife.
That's not a cut. They would have had to use wire clippers for that. And that does not look like wire clippings.
No, it doesn't.
This looks like literally it was bent. I mean, there's other marks on there. Like, this thing really did have trouble getting in.
Oh, there are other marks.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
They're
actually
not showing there,
Jillian
but
was saying.
Yeah. But this thing really did have quite a bit of a struggle without making a sound. Because my grandmother is a light sleeper, and she didn't even hear anything.
Wow. So
I sleep right next to the bunny hutch here in the living room, and I didn't even hear anything.
Before do you put the picture of the bunny up? I am going to put our warning up.
Yes, go ahead and put a warning, because it's...
I mean, there's literally no blood, nothing, but,
It is a cadaver.
Yeah. So, again, guys, trigger warning. Also, I figure I should just do this ahead of time. Warning, the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only. So, are you guys ready for the sad picture? So, this is the result.
No blood, no teeth, no markings. But
no animal perdition. That's the thing that gets me. There is no animal perdition whatsoever.
And this is even the sheriff, man. Like, the sheriff was looking at it, and he's like, "There's nothing there, no blood or anything." He says, "But what I do notice is that this thing had it in its mouth and snapped its neck." But if that were an animal, it would have eaten the whole cadaver up. Or it would have just taken it out.
Wouldn't a human have just opened it, like Kelly's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a human would have either opened it or just slashed that hardware cloth.
No. Here, let me add something here. Kelly's right. If it were a human, it would have opened the dang hutch. The hutch was unlocked.
Oh,
it has no lock. They would have opened the latch and taken it out, not just ripped the dang fence and everything like that. That's what amazed me.
Didn't you say that you even suggested, or the cop suggested, you brought up the word chupacabra and he did not dismiss it?
Yes. Here we go. Here's the kicker here. So I'm sitting out there, I'm sad, I'm very hurt by this and everything like that, because I mean, I took care of it, we all put our work into it. And I told the officer, I'm like, hey, I'm like joking around, like, what if it were the chupacabra? I've never seen a police officer's face drop so damn hard.
Oh my gosh.
Out of the seriousness, and he just looks at me with this serious face and he goes, "You might be right." Like, he wasn't confirming it, nor was he denying it.
Yeah, but like usually
But they're going to get calls to stuff like this on a regular basis, you would think, especially if, like, cattle and different stuff like that.
This officer did seem like he knew something about it, but he wasn't going to discredit it, nor was he going to give it credit, because we just don't know, But the thing is that the look on his face when I said that, even if it was jokingly, just, that was like, he was like, okay, you know what? You might be onto something.
So one of the things Kelly said that, and I don't know if you guys have heard a rabbit scream before.
I have.
It sounds like a child. It is. He is absolutely right. It is blood curdling.
And Kelly said, if it took too long, you should have heard it, because they scream.
Yeah.
It is the most just bleh sound.
That's why
it will wake you up. It will wake you up if it happens at night. It's not like a little peep or a little squeak. I mean, it sounds like a human child crying.
Yeah, and none of us heard it. None of us heard it. We were like, the cop did it. Come on.
The cop's a chupacabra.
The cop's...
He's a shapeshifter.
Well, look. So I did find this interesting article, kind of talk about this, and this is on a website called allthat'sinteresting.com. And it talks about how in Puerto Rico, animal farms and things like that. And guys, my tablet is wanting to overheat, so hopefully I don't cut off on you guys. But chupacabra has been in their folklore and stuff like that for a very, very long time. Whereas since 1995.
Oh.
She'll be back.
Before
she comes back, I guess we can touch base on some of the comments, because we got a lot coming through.
Yes.
So Jillian said, after, I would think that there would be more slash-like marks, but you did mention that there are. But she also said, your family doesn't have beef with anyone. Like, maybe they could take it out on you guys. Right?
No, my family does not have beef with anybody. We all know each other here. We're all neighbors. We all know each other. We've grown up. All of us, all the youngins here, we've all grown up together, gone to school together. And
we're
like
not
I said,
youngins anymore soon, right?
Yeah, we're already in our 30s, and we're all viejitos and shit.
Rebecca suggested maybe a wolf, but I'm not sure about your area with wolves.
We have coyotes, and we might have wolves, but the thing is that it's not possible for them to really, come out of the woodworks here anymore.
Well, but also that hole having no extra fur, like, it's kind of crazy. And then she's back.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Kitty Cat says, I have to think a human would have cut up his or her forearm reaching through that hole, unless he or she had something like Kevlar on them, like a Kevlar sleeve. And that was my other thought too, is they would have been able to swab it for blood, because that stuff is so sharp.
Yeah,
exactly.
There was no sign of blood anywhere on there. No sign of blood or anything. And I don't think anybody here would can't afford Kevlar gloves or anything.
Yeah. Well, and that's what that article was saying, is that there have been multiple reports since 1995, when people started first reporting the chupacabra, that they normally do go after chickens, rabbits, small game, and things like that. So, if it really is something other than what we think of as like a mythological cryptid, and it could actually be some sort of either unidentified species or crossbreed of two different, closely related species. I find that fascinating that you're in Texas and this happened, and those tend to be the type of animals that what we know of or think of as the chupacabra normally go after. So why couldn't it migrate?
Yeah, and like I said, people claim wolf, fox and everything like that. How in the heck did it get the strength to push such a heavy? I mean, wolves cannot really push that much of reinforced steel and wood.
Well, and coyotes in our area, at least, I don't know about the coyotes in your area, but the coyotes in our area do not have the strength, both them and fox, the upper strength to push something like that over. That would, if you were just looking at that,
that thing had to have made noise, which it probably
like it would have had to have been a large cat or small bear or something like that to push something like that over.
Or as Jillian said, the man-bear pig.
Man-bear pig.
The man-bear pig. There you go.
We've solved it. It is the man-bear pig.
But yeah,
or sheep squatch.
I don't
sheep squatch.
Sam squatch.
I just don't get that, because see, here we have bobcats, but those things are way far out in the ranch lands of South Texas. That's getting in more into like falcon and Zapata and like way up northern Texas and stuff like that. We do have coyotes, but it's a very rare sighting of coyotes because we are almost a city already. We used to be country. I could have credited that because we did used to be country, but there's just a lot of houses and stuff like that here. So it's unexplainable. This conversation is upsetting Steve the cat. Oh.
Oh, poor Steve. Put some little kitty cat earmuffs on him. Rebecca brings up a good point, too. You would think that whatever tore through that cage would not have left that rabbit intact just laying there. It would have been, if it was intended to eat it, it would have either taken it into like a wooded area or back to like a nest or what have you if it had like young animals to feed. They wouldn't have just left it laying there.
See,
and no one interrupted it.
Kelly makes a great point here, and Calvin says he was a country when country
was country when country wasn't cool.
And Kelly says here, in town coyotes opportunity kill, not disassemble cages.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually gonna bring that picture back up because I kind of want to examine it a little bit more too. Is that pushed in or pulled out? Okay, here's that. I'm looking at it. I look at it. There's an entrance and an exit. So you would think that somebody would have got cut, or a bunch of hair would be on there, or
there was a bunch of hair, but it's the bunny's hair.
Okay.
Because the bunny's
that's
white
so
and gray.
Weird.
The bunny's hair is white and gray. Yeah. This was all white and gray.
I mean, there's no blood or anything.
Nope. Nothing.
And you would think at the very least, whatever did it would have scraped themselves. Or at the very least, the bunny's blood should be on there, sorry to say.
Well, and that's such an odd-sized hole. I mean, honestly, something big enough to push over a cage that
like
heavy
I said,
would leave such a small hole.
Wait, hold on. Coming back. Let me bring that back up.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in.
What the hell is that?
So, let me look at, sorry, it's kind of not,
Can you take it out with some tweezers or something, maybe?
I
don't know if you want to touch it, but
yeah, I'm not touching that thing.
It could.
But let me try and let me.
It could be a nail pulled out at the very base.
Maybe, but isn't that an odd shaped nail? It's not.
It would be a
A
little
cat
bit more
nail?
arched, I guess.
It looks almost like a barb.
The reason I say it is because it does. Oh.
It
Oh
has.
no, we lost Mikey.
It has. Y'all want to see it again?
Yeah, because I accidentally pulled you out of the feed for a second.
Is it
It kind of
hollow?
looks like it has a quick in it.
That's
It
what
has-
yeah.
When I found it, it had a little bit of blood, a tiny bit of blood. That's how I knew it was from an animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what is this from? I go, this
Whoa.
can't be from a bunny.
Well, you know, and I hate the
Hey,
bunny had
Frank.
to lose its life like that. My goodness, that's just awful. But I mean, you've got to say how many people can say, because usually whenever you hear like a cryptid story, it's like, I heard it from my brother's uncle's nephew's wife's sister.
You heard it from me. You heard it from me.
Kelly has a point here. Maybe it died from a heart attack because bunnies are known to get that riled up and just have heart attacks, like in the process of whatever was happening, and that's why there's no blood.
It's possible.
But
The animal still would have eaten it. Whatever it
Here you
was,
go.
still would
Taken
have
it.
eaten it.
Otis
It would have
says,
just
"Hear
been
me
a
out.
disappeared bunny.
What if someone cut the hole, lured the rabbit with food over the hole, snaps the neck, hence why you didn't hear it scream, then injected it with something to kill it? That is a whole lot of effort."
Yeah, I don't think your
For a
ghetto
bunny.
Mexicans over here would actually do that. They don't have that kind of. They don't got that kind of money over here to be
I
doing
want
that
what
kind of
Otis
stuff.
has.
But that's a good one. That's a good one. But
Apparently
no,
that's
like I,
what she
like I
said,
said,
Oddmother,
you
I
know,
don't know.
like I say, I watch way too much crime drama to actually let something like this go. I totally went Law and Order on this shit.
You have. You really have. Kelly says, take your sample to a vet to see if they can identify it.
That
I
would be
think
a
they
wonderful
will.
idea.
I think I
That
will.
thing that you've got in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Maybe
I
a
kept
cat
it.
claw
I kept
doesn't
it one
work
thing
enough.
for. I kept it one thing for evidence because I mean the bunny is not really my bunny either. It belongs to my little
Mhm.
cousin.
Oh.
Mhm.
But I
ouch.
take care of
no.
it. My grandmother and I, we take care of it because they moved out of the house here. So we got in charge of taking care of that. And well, I mean, my uncle, he can be kind of, he can kind of get to the point where he lies and shit. So we were thinking, well, what if he blames us for killing it or something like that? And
Right,
hey,
right.
it
No,
wasn't
I
us.
understand.
I love that thing too damn much to actually do something bad to it,
Well,
So
bunnies
don't-
are cute.
Yeah. Why would anybody?
One of my
I just still think that thing is just really odd shaped. I mean, I've raised rabbits, I've raised all kinds of animals and things like that and livestock. And honestly, even if it came out at the quick, as small as that whatever that thing is in that bag,
yeah.
just the circumference of it and the length, it's not curved like a predator.
Huh.
Yeah, you're right. It's not.
So that lends to more of a quill than a.
And it doesn't look like a tooth. It doesn't look like a canine.
Mm-mm. Apparently, Jillian can see you, Mikey, as the iced tea type detective.
Totula?
But yeah, it looks more like a
I've got
quill.
clue here. Yeah, I mean it. Some people say it might have been an opossum, but how in the heck is an opossum going to drop a freaking huge hutch like that?
Well,
You got to be a pretty big opossum.
possums are pretty big and evil.
They are pretty big. But
But
my
they're
ex sister-in-law, she has got a possum rehabilitation. She
Yeah,
helps
that's not a
to
claw.
rehabilitate livestock. Possums are weird. They prefer ticks and small bugs. Now,
Yeah.
not to say they won't eat carrion, but they don't normally go after live prey. Now,
But yeah,
raccoons
it's
can.
only if they're already dead.
Yeah, exactly. They go after the carrion. They're kind of like a coyote too. it's like an opportunity. They don't
See,
necessarily hunt.
Calvin has a point. Wouldn't have a nail that big.
Exactly, and that's
Calvin says
exactly what I was
possums aren't
bringing up right
rabbits.
now.
Yeah.
I was going to show you guys with possums. They don't have big enough nails, and their nails don't retract either.
Mm-mm.
And
And their main diet is ticks.
Yeah.
Ticks and carrion.
He's just so cute. But yeah, they eat ticks. Actually, possums are really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's all afraid of them. Yes, they can be evil. They hiss and they will bite you. They do not carry rabies. They actually help guard people against rabies.
I'm not afraid of possums, actually. You know, we have possums in our yard here that we call them the resident possum.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go outside and I'll catch him outside, you know, doing his thing, and like that. I'm like, hey, what's up?
Well, but then you have to go back to, even if it was like a raccoon or something like that, or a fox, whatever it was, it had to have been at ground level, and it had to have been a decent height in order, because that hole, if it had been a possum or a raccoon, it would have more than likely been at the top, because they're going to climb up whatever it is, and they're going to come down. A raccoon might do something like that.
This animal, whatever it was, must have had must have been on steroids or something like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They couldn't have knocked over that cage, and it would have left hair behind.
Mm-hmm.
Otis, that hole would have had hair.
What?
It would have had hair from the other animal, or anything. But this thing, it had the bunny hair. It had gray and white.
That's what's tripping me out with this. By the way, I was typing in other cryptids.
Chupacabras are kind of hairless, aren't they?
Well, as far as we know, yeah. I mean, there you go.
No. Okay.
Oh, look at the claws. Look at the claws, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You ain't kidding. No. You know what freaked me out?
Or we got this version.
You know what freaked me out more is when Jillian posted that photo of supposedly that Jersey Devil thing, not the unicorn thing.
The one on the fence?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
That kind of sent goosebumps on me, because I was like, that could be. I was looking at the hole and everything, and I'm like, logical. That's it. That's freaking it.
Oh my God, Otis is cracking me up.
Maybe whatever it is in the bag has nothing to do with the crime, or maybe the suspect collected weird voodoo fang teeth.
I'm going to go with voodoo fang teeth.
And he dropped it after he injected your rabbit.
So it is still crime-based evidence.
So to the Law and Order theme. Dun dun.
Maybe it's a baby chupacabra who doesn't know what it's doing yet. I mean, is that kind of the same idea as snakes? Sorry, there's a fly. I'm all. Same idea.
That's why that rabbit's left there. Mama Chupacabra came over and said, "What the heck are you doing?" and slapped the baby Chupacabra against the head to come home.
Knocked him into oblivion.
Oh man. I was trying to look up different cryptids that possibly would eat bunnies, by the way, and I just kept coming up with a jackalope.
Oh my God.
Every time you say jackalope, that reminds me of that freaking thing that would come out on America's Funniest Videos or something like that with Dave Coulier.
Look up swamp booger.
What the swamp booger?
Oh God.
Look up swamp booger.
Okay, I got one. It's a Tywiki Widby.
What, a hootie?
Look up a Tywiki Widby.
How do you even spell that?
It's TYWKIWBI.
Wait, what? TYWK what?
Okay, TYWK IWDBI.
DBI.
How the hell did you even find this? God.
I'm talented. It is creepy.
I just started typing on my computer board, and then this came up.
Isn't it creepy?
I haven't seen it yet.
Hold on.
It's not coming out on my.
It's not coming out of mine either. I just see a bunch of people sitting on the front porch.
I'm gonna Google it. Googlear.
I don't even
Download a
think I spelled it
picture
right.
and pop it up.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Because apparently I spelled it wrong.
It might be on Bing.
The swamp booger or a jackal monkey.
Oh dear Lord, a jackal monkey.
Leave it alone. You don't know where it's been. The cat just walked across the keyboard.
Oh dear Lord, what the hell?
Exactly, that's how it got spelled.
Hey, Dustin!
I just got this weird shark-looking shit.
Okay, hold on. I spelled it wrong when I saved it.
No wonder. I was getting all kinds of weird stuff.
No. I spelled it right when I told you guys.
Oh,
Whoa,
okay.
that looks like a bunny.
It is a bunny.
Oh shit.
So
were they trying to mate?
It's called, again, a Thai Wiki Would-Be.
And that's for real?
So what they actually think this is some kind of parasite.
Yeah, like a growth or something.
Yeah. But if you look at it, it's kind of jackalope-ish. Poor bunny. But, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Rebecca says, hope you can find out what killed your rabbit. I have to go, so have a good night. Good night.
Oh, have a good one.
Bye.
A side note, Dustin, we are great. I hope you're doing great.
Who killed
awesome. He's over
Mikey's
here.
rabbit?
Oh, hey, guys. Should we do a commercial?
Yeah.
Let's do a commercial.
All right. Let's figure out which one. I'll do this one.
Ma!
No, I'm laughing at.
They got that commercial on again.
At this. So it's like, looks like dreads. That fucking thing you just pulled up killed the bunny. I'm gonna have nightmares.
Hold on, I've got to send you what actually got the bunny. This will make more sense. Hang on. Hold on.
Let's find out.
Dun dun dun.
Okay,
That's really weird. Do 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 do.
I'm waiting for it.
I know. Hold on. I'm moving slow. Hold on. Let's see.
I always wondered what happened to the rabbit from the Holy Grail. The fangs. The fangs.
Darn it! Tablet quit acting stupid. All right. Okay, I sent it to you.
Let's see it. Oh my god.
Ooh, Jeopardy music.
We have solved the crime.
What is it?
Hold on, save as. I don't.
Nasty big pointy teeth, says Stephen P. Kitty Cat. Cats? I'm a cat. Cats? I'm a kitty cat. That's going to be Stephen P. Kitty Cat's new theme song.
I will contact that guy. Here you go, guys.
Oh, jeez.
The iguana bunny.
Whoa.
The zombie iguana bunny.
I have solved it. Thank you. Thank you very much. My job here is done. Ta-da!
Nasty big pointy teeth. Jeopardy music.
Run away! Run away!
Earlier, some smart ads asked, what's next? Some smart ass? Yeah, smart ass is what it was. It's fungi infected cannibal zombie rabbits. Great, just dandy. Good lord. Looks like the teeth. So, okay. We're all pretty much in agreement that Chupacabra is like one of the likely subjects here, or suspects here. Do we have any other ideas? Because Chupacabra is the most logical right now.
Well,
Yeah. See what some of the people down in the comments say.
Carol
That'd be
F. and
great.
Baskin.
What do
Carol
you guys
Baskin.
think?
It's Carol Baskins.
It was Carol Baskin. There,
Watch out, guys,
problem
we might
solved.
get
It's
sued.
Carol Baskin.
I am not. Ah!
Check this out here. My cousin, when he lived here and everything like that, he's really high into all the, like the conspiracies and stuff like that, these UFOs and all this other kinds of stuff, you know. Me being his older cousin, you know, I teased him about it, you know. I'm like, you know, it's all fake, man. I'm like, you know, just teasing him about it and everything like that. He's like, no, man, I really saw these things. And I'm like, yeah. But now I kind of come to realize, like, you know, it might be true. He might have seen some shit. And I'm
Well,
just
we
like,
find new species all the time, Mikey. So I don't think that it could be 100% ruled out that it could be some sort of species we're not aware of.
exactly.
So,
What?
I was looking up more things that could possibly be for some good pictures. And
It's
some
just
good-
weird. I mean, if you had just a hole, or you had just the claw, or you had just the cage knocked over, it would be easier to apply Occam's razor. What the world? But with all three of those together, actually all four, because the rabbit was left there intact, it's just very bizarre.
You see, Calvin says here, he says, I would think if it were the chupacabra, it would have drained the blood.
There is no blood.
There is no blood. That's the thing. There
That's
would have
why
been evidence about it, which this thing was completely drained of its blood, I think. It had to have been, because there was none on the grass. There was none on the floor, you know, where it dragged it and stuff, because I'm pretty sure it bled out. Whatever had it.
Well, even if it did have a heart attack, like Kelly suggested, it would have still had, maybe it wouldn't have had pumping blood, but the blood had not coagulated. So
Yeah,
there would have
shouldn't
been
some have
blood
come out?
somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, here's another
You would
thing.
think it would have.
I've experienced a bunny getting bit by a black widow. And because you said that there were no bite marks that were visible, right? But there was no blood, which was weird. Oh, gosh. Speaking of the blood-curdling scream, the bunny just screamed and then died. That's what happened with the black widow. Is the bunny just
Oh,
screamed
that's so weird.
and then fell over dead.
But-
I had no clue what was going on until later when we found a black widow.
Yeah, but I don't know any, like, I would run if I saw a black widow big enough to make a hole like that.
And knock over a cage. And be like, you know what the hell? I'm getting
Not saying
shot.
this
with a-
was a black widow, but I'm trying, like,
It was an 8-legged freak.
oh my god, that movie.
David Arquette.
Ugh. That movie still gives me the heebies.
Arachnophobia.
Because I would even say like a large snake, but like a snake can't make a hole like that.
Yeah,
Kelly said
there's
earlier, it
nothing.
looks like somebody punched it.
Why would somebody? Why would somebody do that? And not go unscathed? You know,
Yes.
like literally. Like I mean, you'd be having scratch marks all over your arms and stuff if you really did punch that thing that hard.
True.
Because even the fencing, that's all hard rubber and metal. So you'd have to have a hard time. No, this thing, whatever it was pulling and it was twisting. Because if you look at
I don't know, it is very, very bizarre.
I will take more video of it and everything like that. I'll go around it and I'll show you how there's other marks there where it was, pulling and twisting.
Oh.
Like this thing really did want that bunny. It wanted something and it wanted it. Because look at the twist marks in there. You can tell there. The top of it is outwards and the bottom of it is inwards.
Do you see on the right-hand side all his fur?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How much fur is over there?
Oh, there's a hell lot of fur on that thing. That's all the bunnies.
That's a trip. Yeah.
See, and that's where it was at. That whatever it was knocked over my grandmother's plants.
I was looking at that too.
Knocked over a bunch of plants and everything like that. I mean, it did some damage there. That's where it entered, right there with that one plant there that's on the side, right next to the soap bottle.
Yeah.
That one, that's where it came from. That's where it entered there, and it went there where all the dirt is, knocked over those plants, and tried to get to the, to the cage. That part of the cage there, it has, twist marks.
Weird. That's a trip. Oh, hold on, we got comments.
Let's see. I was watching Expedition Bigfoot last night and found primate DNA in Kentucky and Washington State related to chimps. Then Kelly says, is there enough metal? Yeah, and that metal, that fencing there, the squares are really small.
Yeah, we call it hardware cloth here, and it's hard because that's what a lot of our small animal cages were built out of, and it's not easy for an animal to chew through it. It usually takes a couple of visits.
Yeah.
Like you'll start seeing areas that are starting to be chewed, and they'll come back every night and start chewing in an area because that's what we would have to check for a lot of times with our rabbits and our chickens.
That's what my grandmother says. She's like, maybe this thing was coming every night, but there was no chew marks or anything like that on it to even know that it was doing that.
And Kelly's got a good question. Were there any tracks in the dirt?
No tracks at all. Like I tried looking for it. I tried retracing where it came from, how it came in and everything like that. Nothing, no tracks, no dirt prints, nothing. That's the weirdest part right there, is that it did not leave any tracks other than that freaking whatever it is, tooth, claw, I don't know what the hell it is, but it left no dirt tracks, nothing, no paw prints, nothing.
And that hole's too small for a dog. Like a dog just wanting to play and get at something, that hole is way too small. Even if it was a large, especially, well, it'd have to be a large dog to push it over.
And I kind of wanted to say, it might have been a pit bull. But even at that, because a pit bull can probably push that cage, because there's a lot of people down here that feed them steroids. They feed pit bulls steroids.
But they usually move in packs when they start doing stuff like that, don't they? It's usually more than one dog getting out at night and going and chasing animals for fun.
Yeah, we even have a
this
pack
thing
of
could have been
stray dogs around here.
Yeah, this thing could have been one that got loose. It could have even been, what I'm thinking too, it could have been like a Doberman.
But
or
still,
something
the
there.
lack
There
of
is
blood from even the.
that's another thing that I took in consideration. Pit bull roid rage solved. That's another thing I took into consideration. I was like, okay, well, if it was a dog, the dog would have ate the dang bunny up. It would have devoured it.
Yeah.
No matter what, it would have taken it. It
or at least pulled it in half.
Yeah, at least shredded it, because
yeah.
Freya, when she gets a hold of something, she just likes to tear it up.
Yeah.
And that emery cloth would have tore up their gums.
Blood.
Yeah.
More blood. There should have been blood.
Yeah. There should have been blood.
How old was the bunny?
I don't know exactly how old it is or was, but I know we got it sometime back in 2020. It had to have been, I think, before Thanksgiving that we got it. We hadn't gotten it for that long. We didn't have it for that long, but that dang thing actually grew fast.
The dingo ate your bunny.
They ain't got no dingoes.
All that damage would tear an animal's
Dingo
mouth
boy.
out.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, Kelly. It would have torn up their gums to start biting through that hardware cloth like that.
Gums bleed like crazy too.
Mm-hmm. So do noses and everything like that. I mean, that thing had to have cut up. It would have cut up the snout and everything like that, and the gums and everything. It would have just did so much damage.
Really have gambling debts or hang out with unsavory characters.
No, Stephen P. Kitty Cat. What is this, Goodfellas?
Hey, that rabbit wasn't wearing no cement shoes.
Yeah, no. It is weird. I mean, I kind of wanted to, stay up one night and just see if it would come back or something like that. But the thing is that once that thing's gone, it's gone. It's not going to come back unless I get something else.
I would seriously take that thing that you've got in a bag to a vet and see if they might be able to give you some insight.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. See what I can get out of it. The Iceman got him.
Okay, so Calvin, interestingly enough, my aunt up until recently had a bunny that lived to be, I want to say 16 or 17 years old.
Jesus.
His name was Bunnicula. And he was huge. He was so big, his head, like he had trouble holding his head up. But he'd sit there. And he was a happy bunny. He was a good bunny. So, Stephen P. Kitty Cat asks again, was the bunny originally from New Jersey?
Put up Kelly's comment there.
The Iceman got him. And then here we go.
She says that bunny wasn't taken out by mouth. It's not going to stand there by the hole and wait to be eaten. That's another thing that kind of, what I thought about too. I was like, okay, the bunny's not just going to stand there. It's because there's in that cage, there's a little tunnel there that it has to where it goes in when it rains. Mm-hmm. And then on the top, it's where it lays down when it's outside. So that's what I was trying to think. I was like, whatever it was went in, got it and dragged it out.
Or reached in and got it, and whatever reached in had to have been fairly large and fairly long. That's the reason I kept thinking maybe a snake.
But
yeah, but how did the hole
big gaping hole?
Exactly. How did the hole happen?
Exactly there.
I'm bringing the hole back up here. It's like,
see right there on the side of the hole, there's a little door where the bunny can go in. It's like a box where the bunny can go in case if it's raining or anything like that. It could just, sleep.
Or at least run to the other end of that cage. That's not a tiny cage.
What I'm wondering is how on earth did they reach in?
Yeah.
Also,
exactly.
If it was a person,
that's all the questions that we have.
Why didn't they just open it?
Exactly.
Or no, there was fur around the hole, wasn't there?
Elmer Fudd.
There was
kill
fur around
the
hole,
rabbit.
Right?
Crazy.
What?
There was fur around the hole, though, right?
Yes.
But it was rabbit fur.
No, I was gonna say, or somebody did reach in and grab it, and then they made the hole to make it look like it was an animal.
But why do that and then just leave it in the yard?
The latch is right there. The latch is there.
You make the hole to make it look like somebody did something.
Like that could be possible, but still, they could have. Well,
but go back to that hole real quick, because it looks like a lot of it is pointing outwards. We know too much about crime.
And a lot pointing out, like the bottom part of it is going in, the top part is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it all went inward originally, and then the bunny was pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
And like I said, no blood stains or anything.
That's the part that's tripping me out the most, because you would think that right there on the wood, you'd at least see some.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. There's nothing there. There's no
Well,
color,
even with this little
no
bit of
coloring
blood still
of
in
anything, and no coloring of blood, nothing.
Poor little guy.
Jillian, if I get murdered, I want Mikey, Odd Mama, and Liz on the case.
Yeah, we'll be the SVU unit.
Hold on, let me move this down and go back. So
let's do a psychological profile on whatever
guys,
this was.
it was
Guys, give me a minute.
Carrots.
Give me a minute. My grandmother's asking me a question. What?
Okay.
Anna wants to know what is the name of the movie you impacted with Trejo?
It's called The Cloth.
The cloth?
Yeah,
The cloud or the
Cloth. La Garra.
A la garra.
See.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm back. She wanted to know.
Yeah, I think we should call it the Sassy Pants Killer.
The Sassy Pants Killer.
The Man Bear Pig Sassy Pants Killer. What if the rabbit just busted out?
That's another thing we actually talked about. What if it busted out? But I'm still thinking, I'm like, how in the heck is it going to really do that? Look at the cage. There's entrance and exit.
It doesn't make any sense.
And came out.
And I've had rabbits. They will chew, but they won't sit there and chew like that. Because that would take hours.
That rabbit would have had to have had some kind of, metal teeth or something like that, because like I said, the fencing in there had to have been with some clippers. That's the only way you're going to penetrate that fence is with clippers, with wire clippers.
So, gosh, trying to do a psychological profile on this thing when we're not even sure. Like, I can't be like, it was a white male between 18 and 40. He has brown hair.
And mommy issues.
Mommy issues and a crooked smile. I want to say he
it definitely has rabbit issues. We know that.
He, No, I'm sorry. He's short. He's bald. He regularly gets outsmarted by another rabbit. And he has a shotgun. But oftentimes, the rabbit has jammed carrots into the shotgun, making it go off.
Y'all are gonna probably laugh at this. Check this out. Hear me out on this. Y'all are probably gonna laugh, but we also have legends of a thing called El Duende, which is like a creepy dwarf. Like it's a mythical dwarf, supposedly that appears, that causes trouble and chaos. The thing with that is that I don't want to steer towards that whole Duende legend thing, but couldn't it be that maybe that thing ripped that cage apart, had something that ripped that cage apart and pushed the hell out of it? It does fit the sizing and everything. Could have pulled it out.
Is it a dwarf with claws, though?
That's supposed to be a spotting of El Duende. Right
it
there.
Could.
It looks like a chupacabra on two legs.
It kind of does.
Could have. The Duende, this could be a tooth from it or something like that. It's not human and it's not animal. It sure is not animal. Just look at it. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, but even if that goes into the gum a good way, which we know our teeth do go into the gum a good way, think about how big the head of that thing would have to be to have a tooth that large.
They do have big heads, I guess. I'm not too sure.
Want to see a creepier one for Duende?
Oh, that's a hell no. That looks like a miniature pumpkin head.
Right.
I mean, there have been people that have seen El Duende, I'm not going to say it was, and I'm not going to say it wasn't, but that...
It looks like a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Had to have been some kind of goblin. I mean, at least the damn thing should have at least showed some respect and taken the dang cadaver, not left it in my yard.
Well, like, that's some of the depictions I'm finding right now.
That looks like something from ICP or something.
Right?
Like that.
Well, everything I'm finding, it's popping up with, like, basically leprechauns.
Well, yeah, that's what it really is a leprechaun, but they aren't like your stereotypical leprechauns, like magically delicious and all that shit. No, these things are evil little fuckers.
Magically delicious.
These things are evil. According to the legend, these things are fucking evil.
Eat it and
And
see
they
your
will do troubles. Eat it and you see your turn. I'm gonna end up becoming one of those damn lizard
is
people.
just Mikey in a corner.
I'm gonna be like those lizard people on freaking Cheech and Chong, man. They go on the wall there with the smoke and shit.
Yes.
Looks like the little gnome thing from Cat's Eye. Yeah.
Ooh, that thing used to creep me out when I was younger.
Right?
I hated that short story.
So
Whatever
Otis
that
says
is in the
whatever it
bag.
was in that bag extracted at the time of the bunny death, there would be some kind of matter from the extraction. That's a thing in the bag. That thing in the bag is too clean. No, it's not. The reason why I don't take it out of the bag is because I have nothing to grab it with. But
It had blood on it, didn't you say, when you first found it?
It had like a little bit, like a speck of blood inside, like something. It had something inside it. It's a little bit hollow, and then it goes in, and then it stops being hollow, and there was like blood or like meat or something in that.
That's like a quill.
So is it the quick?
Huh?
Is it the quick that you're talking about?
No, he said it was sort of hollow, and then it turned into like some sort of organic matter.
I'm gonna try and find something.
See if you can get a piece of toilet paper or tissue.
I'll be right back. Let me get something.
I want to see the like inside of it. I want to see the inside.
We're all.
Show me the inside.
I'm looking up these duendes, and like they are basically more evil leprechauns.
Like a leprechaun hobgoblin.
Yeah.
He's a hobknocker.
Oh my god, this is the best picture I've seen so far, and it's totally fuzzy.
All right, I got the thing out here. Hold on.
This picture's hilarious to me. I gotta bring it up.
Okay.
Oh.
Right there.
Wait.
Oh.
Okay.
That's not a tooth.
It's either a nail or a quill. The only thing about quills is usually at the base they kind of they indent a little bit.
Shit. Look, this is the other side of it.
It's got a quick.
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like what you see on the backs of lizards.
Kinda. You know what?
Iguanas?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Hold on.
Hey, maybe it was a Gila monster.
It could. Well, now listen. A Gila monster could have knocked that thing over, made that hole, and grabbed that bunny, but he would have ate that bunny.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
And I don't think Gila monsters would actually live around where I live because we don't have any swamps or anything. We have canals, but there's never been a sighting of Gila monsters in there either.
It could have been someone's pet.
I want to show you guys.
I had an uncle that had a farm. What is that?
That's a rabbit's claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that. That's not sharp like this one is.
Those are cut though.
And those are curved though. Hold that other one up again.
Hold on.
I don't think it's that curved.
No, it doesn't look like it.
And that bunny doesn't look big enough to have a claw that big.
Hold on, let me get just a little piece because I got a real big piece of paper here and stuff.
Looks like a quill.
It does look like a quill.
Not associated with the crime. Gator.
Gator.
We want to see the goddamn blood. Oh, I said it wrong, but you know. One of my dog's nails are shaped like that. They jut out straight instead of curling under, but he's a 11-pound Chiweenie.
What?
It was a monster Chiweenie.
Monster Chiweenie. There's the front of the nail, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just look. Oh wait. There's the other side. There's the front.
It bends weird at the very end.
Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued. Hold on. Oh, here we go. I found it. It's a blind mole. That's what it is. It's a mole.
It's a blind
mole. Hold on.
Monster mole.
Monster mole.
Wait for it. I got this. Ready, guys?
I'm ready.
I have solved it. It's a mole.
Oh my god. It was a mole. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna have to end the show right now because I have gone over the hour mark.
Oh yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Thank you for coming on here, Odd Mother and Liz. It was a pleasure having you all on my show. Thank you to all my fans. You know, this portion was made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. Go follow PBDC TV, P13, Psycho Bunny Death Cult, and Roots Bleed Red. This has been Mikey with Out of the Ordinary. Have a good night.
Bye.
This is Mr. Applewhite speaking. There is nothing wrong with your device. Join me here on Psycho Bunny DC. A delightfully dreadful consternation of horror content. Use your head and free your mind.
Coming to you live from Psycho Mantium 13. Join us here throughout the week for all things in audio, visual, and literary content. You can also find us on the World Wide Web at psychomantium13.com. Join Psychomantium 13 and enter the weird.